Hello YouTube! It's been a long time since I made a video and posted it, just a video on my channel. But I haven't been totally gone. I've been doing a little bit of live streaming the last couple weeks, and it has not been without its fair share of technical difficulties and hiccups because I don't really know what I'm doing yet. I'm kind of getting the hang of it. But I've been very fortunate to have an attentive audience, which shocked me. I thought it was going to be me either talking to myself for a few hours and just testing things out, or maybe I'd have one person pop in if I was lucky. But at one point I had, I think, 14 viewers, which really shocked me, especially because the aspect ratio of the stream was wrong because I didn't figure that out until, knock on wood, hopefully today it's figured out when I go live later this evening, which join me if you'd like. I'll be taking some requests after I work on some stuff for about an hour. It's been fun despite the technical hiccups. It's great to have people in the chat actively giving me feedback on stuff as I'm doing it, letting me know if the color choices are good or if this looks better than this. It's nice to get that real-time feedback versus just me being in my own head for hours going back and forth and arguing with myself. It's nice to get another outside perspective like that. And more fun was, and you'll see later as the Speedpaint progresses, I add some question marks on top of Molly's head, and that wasn't planned. It just kind of happened organically because of the little riff from the chat. We all collectively as a chat and myself decided that the book that Molly was reading, which is a question I had never thought to answer, somebody asked in the chat, what book is she reading? And I think it's just a book called Apple Volume 1 that is one page, and it is just a picture of a red apple with the word apple underneath. And then we determined that Volume 2 would be an identical book, except it would be a green apple, and then Volume 3 would be a yellow apple. And Molly here has been sitting on this hill contemplating the depths of this tome for hours now, maybe even days. This is what we're dealing with Animal Crossing villagers. They tell you that they've had a very busy day and they sit under a tree and eat a donut for hours. Like, that's their lives. So it makes sense that this would be the kind of literature in that world, and that Molly would be very deeply invested in Apple Volume 1. So it was fun to riff on that with the chat, and it actually made the piece a little bit cuter and told a little bit more of a story, because at the end I actually make the question marks that were just a joke, I make them part of the final artwork because I think it did make it better. It makes it more of a story. It shows the little duck is thinking really hard. You can clearly see that the book does not have any pages in it, so it makes it a little funnier, a little cuter, and more importantly, it tells a story, which is something that I've been working on diligently, as you can see from the theming of the stream with the little golden book strip on the side, the theming of the intro graphic. I've been very interested in developing this kind of graphic, little golden book, classic style for my portfolio, overhauling it, and what better way to practice a new style than to do some fan art in your comfort zone and kind of test the waters first. And what is more in my comfort zone on this channel? If you know me for anything, it's for drawing all 480 Animal Crossing villagers, so I had to start live streaming with an Animal Crossing villager to honor those roots. I picked Molly because she has that classic dot eye, and that's the trend. If you saw in the video the kind of creepy sparkly eye I added at one point, me and the chat were talking about modern graphic kids book styles, very shapes you could cut out with scissors, simple bold shapes with simple bold colors, eyes that don't have eye shines in them, which is something I've had to get accustomed to as someone who gravitates to adding those little eye shines, as someone who grew up with Disney and Neopets and all that kind of style. I've been leaning more into that simplistic eye style and flat look. The eyes I was making fun of, actually, with the big sparkly eyes in the video were modern day Beanie Baby eyes, which are absolutely terrifying. The Beanie Boos with the giant, hideous, sparkling eyes, versus the more classic, demure, cutesy, girly, just plain dot eyes of the old school Beanie Babies. We need to return to that. Where is the movement to return to classic Beanie Babies? Because we desperately need it. And speaking of Beanie Babies, I think tonight when I stream, I'll work for an hour or so on the little Inch the Worm Beanie Baby art that, if you see the intro graphic, he's at the top. All of those are unfinished currently, and as I finish them, I'll be updating that graphic. So it's kind of a work in progress, and a good way for me to get a hang of this style, get the hang of some brushes I don't often use, really get a feel for it, and then I'll be diving into some actual like meaty portfolio pieces. I'd love to do some 2-page spreads of like a bunch of kids playing on a playground, or like a red wall style like feast with a bunch of food platters everywhere, and animals cooking and jumping, and, you know, real action-packed, story-driven illustrations that I have to build up to, because I really need to get a hang of this style before I bite off more than I can chew. So these are some like warm-up pieces I'll be working on stream. And also I'll be taking some doodle requests. Last stream I drew Bluey, I drew a hippie fox character someone requested, I drew the Honey Nut Cheerios bee, and I can't remember what else now. I don't have the best memory at times when I'm like in the middle of recording something especially. But I had a lot of fun doing those, and I'll be doing some more requests later this evening as well. I definitely want to do the Cookie Crisp Wolf. That's one of the ideas that was thrown out last week that I want to attempt tonight. Maybe Cuckoo or Sunny the Cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs bird as well. Love cereal mascots if you know anything about this channel. And it was so funny because I don't know if I was getting trolled or if people like just genuinely didn't know, but it was funny that like people would pop up in the chat, and I have horrible memory for usernames, so I'm so sorry if like you've been here since day one and I don't recognize. I know some people's usernames because I see them over and over in the comments and stuff, but people were asking like, do you know Figment, the Epcot dragon? I'm like, do I know Figment? Like I worked at Epcot. Like I don't know how much of my lore I've even told on the channel, but I had a whole video where I had like the Figment shirt and all the Figment merch in the back and stuff. And somebody asked like, do you like classic cereal mascots? I'm like, I did a whole video series about cereal mascots. I love them. So it was, I don't know if like people were deliberately like trolling, like, have you ever heard of Animal Crossing? You know? But they kept bringing up and requesting stuff that I very much do love and enjoy. So regardless, I'm going to draw it because, yeah, I love those things. I love Figment. I love retro cereal mascots, 90s, and especially the old, like, 60s. I would love to do some, like, real old school Tony the Tiger art as well. All kinds of stuff I've wanted to draw. I have a running list on my desktop, both of stuff that I think would be fun to draw, as well as now I have a secondary list underneath that and a second sticky note of all the stuff that people requested last stream, and I'll be adding stuff to it, and then I'm gonna look up some kind of tool that like picks a random item from a list and maybe use that instead of, I haven't even gotten that many ideas yet, but I feel pressured to like pick one, and I don't want anybody to feel like their idea wasn't good or anything like that. So if I like it, I'll add it to the list, and hopefully it'll randomly pop up when I start doing request streams. So I don't know what the future of these streams is going to look like, if it's going to be just, you know, work on something for myself for an hour and then take requests for an hour or two, or if I'll switch up the format and the length. I'm not really sure yet. I'm going to kind of let my own feelings about it, as well as the audience and what they like, kind of dictate the way this goes. But for now, it's going to be a mix of working on those characters from the intro graphic, getting those pieces done, and then some request doodles at the end, because I think that's a lot of fun to do stuff live and on the fly like that, as well as having something planned and prepared. But it's kind of just go with the flow for now and see what happens, and see if I get the hang of it and what kind of stuff I like doing. I have this silly idea of like a spin the wheel, like it'll be free at first, then maybe $1 super chat to spin, because otherwise it'll get kind of chaotic, where like it's to sabotage me in the middle of a drawing I'm working on. So like, oh, I can only work in grayscale and then can't see the colors till the end, you know? Or if it lands on, I have to increase the saturation 30% or decrease it 30%, or draw with my left hand for 30 minutes and, you know, sabotage me, like Cutthroat Kitchen and all those like goofy reality shows. Like, oh, you have to cook this 4-course dinner in a tiny pan, or I like stuff like that. I like a challenge. I think it'll be fun for the people, for the audience. But I mean, if you guys tune in and you hate it, I'll never do it again, you know? So just ideas I'm thinking about that I've been playing with and planning and scheming in the background here. And then trying to maintain consistency. I have the availability to be consistent. It's just always like, you know, I have these things, these grand things planned, and then all of a sudden a client needs a thing done like in the next 48 hours. But I'm trying to get better about balancing client work and fun stuff like this. So hopefully gonna get into the schedule of Fridays at 7:30 Eastern every single week, and then posting a video every week or every other week. And I don't know yet if I want to make videos of all the request stuff into Speedpaints or chop those up into little shorts, or I don't know what to do with that stuff yet. So for now, I'm just going to make videos like this where I'm blabbing over a super sped up Speedpaint at like 1300% of a finished piece I did on stream. That's kind of the plan for right now, but if you guys are interested in seeing specific stuff on stream, or you want to see the stream cut up into videos in specific ways, or just want to say hello because you forgot I existed and I just popped up in your sub box for the first time in months, just let me know in the comments below. And remember to like the video if you liked it, subscribe if you want to see more stuff like this, and feel free to join me when I go live later this evening at 7:30 p.m. Eastern. See you later. Peace.